Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I certainly miss seeing you guys. This has just been a very odd past week. This weekend, I made a trip to school. I could no longer get into the building, so I brought a bunch of stuff home. It was really weird walking around empty halls and thinking about things that I would need for the next couple of weeks, and hopefully I didn't miss anything. But yeah, this video is kind of meant just to tell you about how class is going to operate, how maybe some changes that we're going to make based off of week one going into week two. So let me just show you a couple things. I did bring a whiteboard home. You can see over there, so I have the ability to write some things out. I took, you guys can see this here. I took my Decker sign home way back there. Oh, the phone caddy made it. Okay, well, I wanted the cart, but the phone caddy's on there. So since this is kind of class, why don't you go ahead and take your phones, just put them away, no distractions. There we go. All right. Oh, I brought some of my motivational posters home. I'll show these to you. Remember this one? Little guy running. Okay. So what's it say? It's backwards for me. So you can't get anywhere unless you start. So we started last week. Hopefully it was good. For many of my classes, you guys took a survey for me. I appreciate the feedback. And as we go into week two, we're just going to talk a little bit about what we might keep, what are some things we might change, just some things we've learned along the way. So I'm going to show you my screen here, I think. Share this. And we're going to go to, let's see. Okay, I think it's going now. We're going to go to this page right here. Okay, so some updates for March 23. So what's the plan here? The big change is just to maybe make things a little easier for you, but also maybe to make it easier for me. We are going to go to a 2 days of assignments a week. It's not necessarily going to change your workload, but it's just going to change when I am giving that work to you and maybe when I want things due. But I hope that will be a positive change. So if you're in my calculus or pre-calculus classes, my plan is to give you assignments on Monday morning and Wednesday morning and have them due the next day at 5 p.m. So then for you guys, maybe a Friday is going to be a bit of a catch-up day. And maybe you can focus on some other classes too if you need to. If you're in any of my Algebra 2 classes, I'm going to give you assignments on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and that would be due then on the Wednesday or Friday at 5 p.m. Now, the idea that we were kind of told was maybe at most 4 hours of work a week. So when I am kind of planning these assignments, at most each one's going to be 2 hours total, but I do think it's probably going to be less than that overall. But it gives you a little bit of time for you to figure out how you want to fit it into your schedule. And I hope that that's a good positive change. Now, that's what we're going to try for this week. I can already look ahead to next week where it's the week before spring break. Algebra 2 classes, we don't have class on Friday. So yours might shift up a day on that week. Or we might stick with this and just make your Thursday assignment really short. We'll see. I am going to keep a very detailed list of things to do on your daily plan document that's been shared with you several times. If I were you, that's where I would go all the time, because all the steps are going to be listed out there in the one column, and then the due dates are in that second column. But I will start posting things on Calendar. Just last week was crazy. I didn't. In fact, I just totally forgot about it. But I will keep doing that on Calendar. Now, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but I do plan on starting to use Google Classroom a little bit. There's some nice features that I think will work well for online learning. So when you sign up for that class, you're going to get an additional calendar. And we're going to use the new calendar for your class. So I think you should be able to see my calendar right now. If you can just go ahead and find my class, and if you were in my Algebra 2 4th hour class, you could just hit that X and kind of get rid of that calendar for now. Or if you want to keep it, it's kind of up to you, but I think long term we are just going to use the new calendar that is created through Google Classroom. Okay, and then I do want to give you a little idea of what we're learning about. This video is going out to all of my classes. So in Edpuzzle, as you're watching this, I'm going to pause it here and just give you an idea of what we'll be thinking about for the next couple of weeks. Parents, if you're watching, I will include that in your email. Okay, so what should you expect for each assignment? Again, you're going to get this 2 days a week now. Any video that I'm going to assign to a student, it's going to run through Edpuzzle. So you are watching kind of an intro video for the week, but I did put it on Edpuzzle mainly because I want to be able to ask you questions and I want to get your responses. For this particular video, I just want to get your opinion. But for some of the videos where we're actually learning things, I want to be able to kind of quiz you or see if there's any trouble spots that we need to cover a little better. If you do ask a question, because sometimes my questions are just, hey, do you need to ask anything? You might say no. But if you end up asking a question that requires feedback, there's an option for me just to respond to that question right in Edpuzzle. So do go back and look for that. Because I think that would be helpful for you. If it's something that's a really a question that should go out to the entire class, then I'll probably address it some way later in the week with the entire class as well. My goal here for each day is generally just give you a short intro video for the topic or the topics that we might cover over those 2 days. I really think that you need to take your own notes on this. It's going to be really hard for me to get you notes that you can then print off. I think that's kind of a bit of a hassle. So just make sure that you have some blank paper and you're taking your own notes, because the work that I'm showing in the notes, I really think you should be showing as well in your daily assignments. Okay, all classes except for calculus at some point are going to start using a program called Delta Math. I have one class that started it last week. I thought overall it went really well. And I have another class that will start it this week, and probably another class that might start it the next week. So just kind of know that that's coming up. It's a really cool program. I've been thinking about using it for a while, and I was going to use it next year, and this just seemed like a good time to start with kind of this distance learning. However, what I am going to require you to do is show your work for each of those problems on a piece of paper. And even if you're not using this program this week, you should still be showing your work on a separate sheet of paper. And many of you have probably been doing that already. I want to see that work. So that's why I'm kind of starting up Google Classroom as well. So I will, by the way, if you still need to sign up for Delta Math, when that time comes, I will give you very specific instructions for that. Not everyone's going to have to do that right now. So just be looking at your daily plan document, and whenever that time comes, just know you'll have some pretty detailed instructions there for how to turn that on. For Google Classroom, most of you probably know how to do this, but I will provide steps for signing up for that class in our daily plan doc. You'll get the code there as well. I will also attach a video of a good way for you to just turn things in on Classroom. Basically, I'm going to ask you to take a picture of your work, or it could be several pictures depending on how it's formatted, and either load those individual pictures onto Google Classroom or put those pictures onto a Google Doc and turn that doc into Classroom. If you're using a phone, there's an app that you can download, and it's on that video, but you can download an app that's going to make it very easy and straightforward to do that. And then as you're turning that in, if there's any issues that came up in that assignment, I'm also hoping to provide some way for you to ask questions as you're turning it in. Right now, it may just be through a Google form that gives you the option of asking some questions. And it's fine if you don't have any. But why I'm asking you to do this is on Google Classroom, it's very easy for me to open up those pictures on my iPad and just write right on top of your work. Looks good. Oh, you need to check this. You should be showing more work. Or if it's based on a question that you were asking, I can even give feedback on here's what you should have been doing instead. So I'm kind of excited for that. That has been something that's been kind of hard the last week, is looking over just answers, but not really being able to see what your thought process was. Okay, I think this is a big one. This is the last thing I'm going to be talking about. Last week was just so difficult because I just could not communicate with you effectively. You guys were overwhelmed. To be honest, I was overwhelmed. We were learning all kinds of new things, and I'm trying to figure out how to teach all my classes in a very different way. But hopefully this week will go a little bit better in that regard. So I'm hoping to have more time where we can just talk a little bit. or communicate at least. So do feel free to email me at any time. I will get back to you within 24 hours. I know there's a couple of emails I have out there yet from last week that I actually have not responded to, but I will get on top of that. But going forward, I do plan to respond to emails very promptly. We talked a little bit in this video about how you can ask on Edpuzzle or when you're turning in your assignments, just for some clarity. So be looking for the feedback on Edpuzzle, and if you ask a question in the assignment, it might even be going back to look at your homework after I've written some stuff on it. During the week, one thing I want to do is provide a specific time or times for each of my classes to check in with me if they want to. So it may just be a 30-minute chunk, maybe on a Tuesday and then on a Thursday for one class, but maybe a 30-minute chunk of time on a Monday and a Wednesday, or a Wednesday and a Friday for another class. I haven't quite figured out when that's going to be, but I will put that on the daily plan document. And that can just be something just a quick pop in. You can ask a question. You can just say hi. We just catch up. But I do think that's valuable just to have that opportunity to ask some questions. And I can even show work pretty easily. I showed you I had a whiteboard here. I also can connect my iPad to my computer and just write things out on my iPad as well. So it's not a difficult thing for me to be able to show work if needed. And if we just need to set up an individual time to meet online, we can do that too. And then at this point, I think we're still doing office hours. Mine are Friday from 11 to noon. We'll see if we kind of keep that set time, or if, as we just say, we need to have other times spread out throughout the week. Maybe that kind of goes away eventually, and you just have lots of other opportunities to come and talk to me. I'm not sure. So I'm going to stop sharing this a second. All right, I hope that now you're seeing me full screen. I'm honestly not sure. I think that's what's happening now. So I do hope week 2 goes much, much better. I don't think that week 1 necessarily was bad. It was just really different, and I think everyone's a little frazzled. So I am excited for week 2. I went into Friday thinking, oh my goodness, I have so much to do. I sat down Saturday and just got a ton done, and I just feel really good about where we're at. So I'm excited for week 2. Still be patient, still ask questions if you're not quite sure what's going on. But I am excited to get back into a little bit more normal, still in a really weird spot, but hopefully in a bit of a more normal setting. So I'm going to stop this video, and lots more for you to read and do and look at throughout the week.